Gulch makes you pay a toll for entry. It's either miles and miles up a sandy wash that way, kind of the same thing that way, or up and down a 40 to 50 degree cliff face. Good morning. We are out here at Coyote Gulch trailhead, the water tank trailhead, and we're gonna go backpack in for the night. I've been out here once before. It was a few years ago now, so I'm really excited to get back out here. We are going the sneaker route, what is known as the sneaker route, which is by far the shortest way into the canyon. Walk up, and off we go. This hike doesn't necessarily take a permit. You just have to get the permit at the trailhead, sign the register. So nothing crazy. As you can see, the only downsides is there's no pets allowed, no fires allowed. But it is what it is. Off we go. It's about 2-ish miles across the desert here. This route takes you directly to Jacob Hamblin Arch, which is I would say the main attraction of Coyote Gulch. This way it takes you straight to it, the most direct route, the quickest. It's just a class 4 scrabble down. Last time I was here there was a rope, sometimes there's not, supposedly. It is very steep. It's like 40 or 50 degree incline, but it's on sandstone and there are like little ledges you can stop and get your bearings on and stuff. Recently I was talking to somebody close to me, and they made the comment of they can't imagine me sleeping on the ground in a tent. And they were joking, but it kind of made me realize, it kind of hit me about 2 years now, ever since I got the Jeep. I barely backpacked at all. And backpacking was my original love, honestly. I love overlanding because I see it essentially as backpacking, but with a vehicle. But there's something more, there's a magic to actual backpacking. Just on foot, just surviving on what you have on your back. I am a little worried that I'm overpacked. I have my biggest pack on right now. I actually have my 0 degree bag and winter pad among some other winter stuff, because the forecast for Escalante said 24 degrees or something tonight. And this being down in a canyon, I figured it'd be colder than that. So I have packed for winter, for teens. And judging from last night, it was like barely below 60. I don't know if it ever dipped below 60. So I may just be carrying all this extra weight and bulk for no apparent reason, but we're committed now, so it is what it is. All of that is just petrified sand, dude. Crazy looking. We're gonna stop for a breather here. Look how magical that is. And that's the iconic dome that everyone takes pictures in. Amphitheater, whatever it's called. I love this place. From right here at this point, it does not look like you could get down in the canyon right here. Not even remotely. There is a rope. There is a rope. But this is the sneaker route. As you can see, there is an anchor, an actual anchor for it, but it is quite the down climb. We are going with the scooch. I'm gonna try not to use the rope just to see if I can get down without the rope. Last time I don't think I used it, but I could be wrong. That was 2 years ago now. This is a rope. That is a strap that somebody's just tied on there. Alright. As you can see, there are ledges that you can kind of aim for. All the way down there's ledges. It's not like you're just freewheeling down 50-degree incline, but I'd say this part's probably about average here. I don't know if you can see that. 45 degrees. There are steeper spots also. I'd say that's probably about the average still, 45-degree incline. This part right here, as you can see, is a little sandy, which makes it much more sketchy, because sand on sandstone means it's grippy. It's clean sandstone. Oh, there we go. Already slipping. This is sketchier than the top part. For Christ's sakes. Okay. This is gonna be slippery right here. Whoa. Oh. And we're down. I've certainly done more graceful things. But we're okay. And we're down. If anything, that part needs a rope more than that top part does. That's the sketchiest part. Check that thing out. Absolutely insane. Just the scale is hard to give a sense of on camera. This is 16mm lens, full frame, 16mm, and I still have to pan a lot. That hole is huge. Look at that. So absolutely crazy looking. If that's not the coolest thing you've ever seen, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You must have seen some pretty cool shit, cause it's certainly the coolest thing I've ever seen. This place is so insane. Man. Absolutely crazy. There are tent sites up there. Up here. Where is my sticks? Right there. But how insane is this place? My God. The fact places like this exist is just mind-boggling to me. It's hard to even really show how big this thing is. It's just enormous. So I think I am going to set up shop right here. I think that's going to be the move. And that way I can get rid of the majority of my bulk in order to day hike down to Coyote Natural Bridge and get back. With how cold I thought it was going to get, this is a 0-degree bag. This is Western Mountaineering. It's a mummy bag. Everything else I own are quilts. I'm a giant quilt fan, but with the temperatures I thought it was going to get to on the strip, possibly in the teens down in this canyon, quilts are awesome. Quilts are great until it gets really cold like that. Then mummy bags are just the way to go for when it's actually pretty cold. I do think that I'm going to be quite overly warm with this 7-1R value pad, and this Western Mountaineering bag has a comfort rating of 11 degrees, I think. So if it only gets in the 30s, if that, I'm gonna be toasty. And I kind of also just brought extra weight, that means, but what can you do, I guess. I did bring Gore-Tex gaiters. Again, I am usually 100% team, team trail runner. Feet wet, dry out, drain, dry out quick. But with the temperature that I figured it might be, if I do come upon spots that's too deep, still past my ankle, I will swap back over to my trail runners and put my neoprene socks on. That is the plan. Getting my Uncrustables in. It's 11:10, which means I have about 6 hours of daylight left, which means I should be able to get down the Coyote Natural Bridge and back. It's just very hard to capture and convey how vast the scale of this amphitheater is. It's almost impossible on my camera, unfortunately. Natural Bridge is about a mile and a half. Mile on 1.38 miles or something. So in theory that shouldn't take me any more than a few hours to get there and back, in theory. Theory very rarely holds up like that. I do think I'm going to be pushing it, getting back in time. You also have to be very wary of quicksand in canyons like this. Ooh. Yeah, like that. Thank God I have these gaiters on, or I would have just wetted my boot out right there. I don't think that was quicksand exactly, but quicksand would be up in here. This stuff. Kind of have to be careful with it. Found some. This is quicksand. Look at that. See that? This is flooded very recently. Very recently. Possibly like this week. I'm not sure. It's hard to say exactly, but this is very recently flash flooded. And that's why the quicksand is prevalent. So the water's down there, as you can see. It came clear up into here. That's at least probably a 6 to 8 foot rise, if not more, from the current level it's at. That's terrifying, imagining a 6 to 8 foot wall of water. There was news very recently of a very experienced thru hiker getting trapped in quicksand by arches and having to hit his SOS button and get rescued. I would be lying if that hasn't made me a little more wary down here than I probably normally would be. These walls are just absolutely insane. Holy shit. This place is crazy. Deer tracks down in here remind me of when I was doing the Narrows top down backpacking in Zion, and there was a deer clear up. It was probably 6-7 miles up the Slot Canyon. There was a deer. It was both magical and slightly concerning because it had to walk right by me to get by me. And of course it was a little scared. You never know what wild animals are going to do when they're in a confined space with you and nervous. So this is actually a really cool camp spot right here. Look at this place. Really cool. You have this little thing. If you set your tent up, that'd be a windbreak. And then you're in this giant alcove. There's actually some sort of post here. And it's very... Well, there's another one. There's two right here. It's very strange. I'm not sure why there would be a post there. I'm a big fan of places that make you feel small. I think that's pretty common among people like me, like adventurers, travelers. Places that make you feel small are my favorite thing. And there's not many places in this world that I've found that does that quite as well as Coyote Gulch. There's some contenders on my list that I've experienced, but this place is certainly among the top. I was literally just saying, it makes you feel tiny. Absolutely insane. Holy shit. I'm not a religious person by any means. But if I did have a religion, this would be a holy site. This would be a sacred temple in my religion. That is known as Swiss Cheese Falls, I believe. God damn. You can't walk 3 feet around here without being flabbergasted by sights. Last time I was here, there was people coming through this, and that doesn't look like a particularly enjoyable route now. I bet that's swimming territory, or at least close to it. And that water is cold. So we need to get across there. If I remember right, you have to go clear around this big old rock though, it takes forever. I think I did it last time because I didn't want to, even last time I was here, that shortcut right there was probably knee high. It looks above waist high now, at least, but I'm not in the particular mood to be being that adventurous when it's gonna be probably below freezing tonight. Not even tonight. Once the sun goes down, the desert as a whole, and especially canyons like this, the temperature plummets in the blink of an eye. Down the sand hill we go, which is all well and dandy till we have to come back up said sand hill. And then it's one step forward and 2 steps back. See, last time, people were just coming through there. It is quite a bit shorter than going up and down these sand hills to get around this big boy, but it's also very deep right now. That log is very tempting to try to brave. I don't think it's a good idea though, to be quite honest. Because logs are rarely a good idea. I guess we're gonna try it. Trekking poles coming in clutch as usual. And we're across. Very nice. Look at the how colorful this portion of cliff is. There must be springs that seep out of there. There obviously is right there for sure. Right here. I wonder if they're year round. Apparent here how high that water gets. See that? Look at that water level right there compared to where it is. Imagine the power of that much water just... It's amazing these trees hold up. Yeah, that's pretty solid actually. Let's see. That is not solid. Holy shit. Sunk half my chucking pole down there. Okay. Whoo. 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 Little stick that could. Come on, little stick that could. Haha! It could. We are doing much more than I thought we would with dry feet still. Caught view of Coyote Natural Bridge. And it is only 1:17, which means it took like hour and a half, hour 45 to get down here. Which in theory means just take this thing and get back, which will put me back probably about dusk. Dusk in the canyon at least. Look at that thing. The river is going to demand a crossing first as sacrificial tribute to experience the arch. Let's see. Oh, that is deep. Let's see. Wah! The tribute has been paid. That is cool looking. This place is so crazy. So beautiful. Out in the middle of nowhere is where I belong. It's where my soul belongs. I think it's where humans belong. I mean, it's where we've spent 99.9% of our history. Is the wilderness. Very, very brief time, a couple hundred years, if that. We've been in what we know as civilization now. So I think that's why it's so calming and like healing and cleansing to the soul and the spirit to be out in places like this. Buildings, concrete, cars honking, 100-story buildings. We're not made for that. We're not made to live in places and environments like that. We're just not. You can't tell me this isn't. I mean, just listen. I don't know how well this mic is picking up ambience, but of course there is a commercial airplane that I can hear. Of course. But without that there, it would be sound of the creek. Nothing else. Hopefully it's not too cloudy, and we can catch some sweet sunset glowy action going on this side of the canyon on the way back. I think we're gonna start heading back. It is 1:57. People really stress me out. I just ran into a couple clear down in here, almost to Coyote Natural Arch. They just had day pack, small day pack. Didn't appear like much warm clothing. They were in water shoes, so their feet were wet. And they asked me how far it was back to the parking lot. And then when I said, I think you would be a shorter route from here, just turning around and going back, they gave me a very confused look and said, oh, we're just following the haul trails. It's 2:07, which doesn't seem late, but down inside this canyon here, it's going to start getting dark in like 2 hours. And they're probably only halfway through the whole Coyote loop. I'm not sure off the top of my head. It seems like it's like 14 miles or something. They're probably halfway through and they have a few hours of daylight left. They only have a few hours until they're going to be very cold. Hopefully not blind. Hopefully they have decent headlamps. And trying to route find through the canyon in the dark with minimal clothing and very cold feet. Like, this is such a beautiful place, and it seems so scenic and ideal and peaceful, and it is, but it is also can be very dangerous. It'll get near freezing or below tonight once that sun goes down very, very quickly, and they're walking in water. I hope they're okay. It's also a very weird conundrum to be in when you happen upon people that are blatantly unprepared, like in the backcountry, because there's really not much you can do. When you're backpacking, you bring every ounce counts, so you're not going to bring extra things. So when you happen upon situations like that, you really can't do anything but hope they're okay. Hope they figure it out, which is Not a good feeling, but it's just the reality of it. The walls are starting to get a little glow to them already. And it's only 2:30 in the afternoon. They're so pink. It's amazing how much the lighting changes in here just within a few hours. And how much the lighting changes the colors. That's also another thing that amazes me about the desert, but inside canyons like this, it's much more pronounced. Everything, the colors, just the richness and the contrast just so dramatically shifts throughout the day. How magical is that? There's like a light streak coming here because the sun is right perfectly there. I bet this only lasts 15 minutes or so. The sun shaft is out in full force now. Look at that thing. What a glorious place. Crazy. Absolutely insane. I can't wait to believe we made it back so soon. It's only 3:15. Ooh! Echo! Ooh! Caw! This place is crazy. Absolutely insane. See how silty that is. And we have clean water. Just like that. Doing that without any sort of pre-filter or anything was definitely not ideal at all. Each time I do that, I'm rolling the dice on whether my filter gets plugged with sediment. Now that I've gotten this wet, I do I need to put at least a filter part inside my sleeping bag tonight if it drops below freezing. Because once these are wet, if you let them freeze once, they no longer work. Because they have fibers that let water through, but not contaminants. That's all they filter. And when those fibers freeze, they expand and break. So their filtering goes away. The problem with winter backpacking, it is 4:14. It's getting dark soon. Yeah, I can't exactly go to sleep at 5 p.m. So I have quite a few hours to burn. Winter nights are long. You don't have any service, no fire, and you're alone. These little salt foam pads weigh nothing, packed down small, but they're awesome. Just to lay out like this. Look at this. You get the tent. And you got this big boy. Look how crazy that is. It is only a 4:36. What a vibe. Kind of just looking around here at what people have carved in this rug. Did he come? That definitely looks man-made to me. You can tell people have got bored here. This one has quite a bit of stuff on it. That's cool. We got a little hut there. Let's open. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that looks man-made. Okay, so backcountry bison bowl it is, and the strawberry cheesecake bites. So let's see, we got 14 ounces. This bison actually takes quite a bit of water. 16 ounces is quite a bit of water for 1 meal. Got my poor hand hairs there. I'll try to find the, there it is, the elusive packet. These biscuits are something, as you can see. They're actually full-size biscuits. I was not expecting that. Look at this one. It's even bigger. That's a legitimate biscuit. And we are boiling. Just like that. So now, just water. Smells good almost immediately. I can't get over there how big those big biscuits are. Oh my god, that smells good. Alright, it's been a little over 10 minutes. It does look very good. It smells very good too. It smells really good. Good lord, it's hot. Oh my god, that's delicious. That is so good. This may be the best dinner backpacking meal I've ever tried in my life. The Peak Refuel peach cobbler takes the dessert crown by far, but this, as far as dinner goes, this is so good. I am absolutely flabbergasted by this. I would order this at a restaurant
Like if I had a lot of other options, like restaurant quality options, and this was an option, I would order this. This is so good. Peak Refuel, Backcountry Bison Bowl. Oh my god. Good morning. It is 7:50. It is 45 degrees, which means it is 3 times warmer than I thought it would be. I think we're gonna get up. We're gonna roam around a bit. I think I'm gonna go back this opposite way for just a little ways at least. Just to see. Just because why not, really? And then we're gonna make our way out of here.
Off we go.
Somebody literally just barefooting it through here. I can't imagine just barefooting it through this here. That's hilarious. To each their own. To each their own strategy, though.
So majestic. And so huge. Absolutely bonkers. The size of that thing.
This would be a cool campsite right here because fire ring. That's the most blatant fire I've seen. When you're not supposed to have fires. I mean, this may be a better campsite than I had, quite honestly, because you would get that you would get this in sunrise and sunset. You would get it illuminated over there, like it is right now, during sunrise, and then evening golden hour would be hitting this part, and you could set up right here, so that could be out your door.
Look at that. Something majestic. There's not even another word for what that is. The sides, absolutely majestic. The thing is so huge. How many tons of rock has to be right there? Just holding itself up is mind-blowing. Look how beautiful that is. Check this log out. It has been deposited onto this rock from the flash flood. Look at that thing. That is a big log. I'll get up there for some perspective. And that is a big rock. And the water has just... And then somehow perfectly deposited it on this rock.
Ooh. Look at that. See that? Ooh, my foot started to sink right there. That is quicksand. Let's get up here out of the mortal danger. I was thinking I could get up on the rock, but I don't think that's gonna happen. This is probably as close as I'm getting, quite honestly. All of the sand around this rock looks very, very sketchy. I don't really, oh my god, I'm sinking right there. That just had a suction on my boots. I don't know if you heard that, but as I was sitting there rambling, I was sinking. We could keep going down. It does look like I could probably hug the wall right here, but it looks like it could be some bushwhacking. And the only other alternative is to definitely wet my boots out in the river, getting across it down there. And between bushwhacking and wetting my boots out, I choose neither. So we're gonna turn around and head back to camp.
A far shot of Jacob Hamblin from the corner before it.
I thought this was completely solid because it's kind of raised. Definitely not. That is quite treacherous right there. If I put my weight on that, my foot would be immediately gone. Ooh, that's a good pull of it. Right where I thought was solid. This stuff is sketchy. Little tadpoles. You'd think it would be too cold for them. It's amazing. Oh my god, right as I kneeled down right there. Look at that. My foot was sinking as I was looking at those stupid tadpoles. Well, the lighting has drastically, this light patch has got drastically larger. How cool is that? Look at that light patch coming right there.
Look at that. Oh my god. How majestic is that? I wish I could get the river and that. I just don't have wide enough reach.
We are as wide as this action camera will go here to try to capture it all. It is getting it. This is 12 millimeter equivalent, I think, or it might be 11 actually. 11 or 12 millimeter equivalent.
One final hoorah. One final recording of this place before I leave. God. How majestic.
We're back in the trusty trail runners. Have a few pounds of boots strapped back on my back, and we're off. All we gotta do is round this corner and the ascent begins. Stop for a moment here and just take it in one last time. What a place. I can't decide if it looks more daunting from the bottom or from the top. I am going to try capturing this with this 360 camera while also holding my trekking poles This is what 360 cameras are made for. Okay, up we go. This is the sketchiest part, I think, is this part, unfortunately. I'm really gonna try. My shoe's just a bit wet. To not bang the lens of this camera against the rock either. That would be ideal. This part is the stupid sandy part, which is quite obnoxious. The rest of it is not sandy at all. Sand, clean sandstone is grippy sandstone. Oh, that's quite the... Oh Lord, yeah, it's pretty daunting from below too. I will put this camera on the ground. Maybe that'll give some perspective of the steepness. Okay. Now where'd the rope go? I think it's up there somewhere. It wasn't long enough, I remember that. But I just, oh, there it is, okay. Trying to use the rope as a reference point of where up the face I need to be going. Okay. That rope is, if you wanted to make it to the bottom, you would need another 200 feet of rope. It's not even really close to long enough. Let's see. I think I want to go along that slight ridge there. Trying to zigzag up this instead of going straight up it. It's usually the best method. Oh, there's little steps carved right here, which are quite handy when going up. This is quite the workout with a backpack on. I'm poor. My legs are already burning. The Gulch makes you pay a toll for entry. And this toll is either miles and miles up a sandy wash that way. Kind of the same thing that way. Or up and down a 40 to 50 degree cliff face. It demands a toll, and it shall be paid to experience it. Up, up, up. Rope. I think it's pretty short. That doesn't even get you halfway down the sketchy part. Or, I mean, I guess, well, yeah, the main sketchy, the biggest sketchy part. it does get you about halfway down, which is kind of messed up because if you were less confident with your traversing abilities and you were relying on that rope, it would maroon you and leave you ropeless halfway down. I think you would notice before that, but I also think you would get a fair distance down before you would notice. Let's see, do I want to go over there or up this? If I can get to that. I don't know if I can get to that. Actually, that looks like that. Zigzag clear up there. Maybe. It's getting across. Here's the sketchy part. Problem is there's no real handholds. Like there's nothing. Oh, my foot's slipping. Let's try this route. Okay, progress. Just trying to utilize these little ledges along here as much as possible for footholds. There's a rope. It's more of a rope, and then there's I don't even know what the hell that is up there. Looks like some sort of very lightweight lashing strap. It's just kind of sketchy. Yeah, I go straight up right here. Over there now. Over here now. Let's try over here now. This part, I could just pull myself up with a rope. Oh, there's steps, okay. I believe these were carved, which is very nice of someone. I don't really want to go straight up there. But you have to, though. I don't really trust this rope either, to be quite honest with you. Oh, that was not good. Yeah. Okay. This is like the last little obstacle. I can either try to finagle this, or I can trust this rope to get me up this little ledge part. I guess we'll just the rope. Okay, and we're up. Now we are above the rope section. We're basically out. Not quite, we still have a little bit here, but getting back to your vehicle after a trip like this is always the best feeling. There's not many things that compare to it. I have some licorice in here, orange cream filled licorice that I have been thinking about for like a half an hour now, and I am going to gorge myself with. That was a really good trip. What the hell? GPS down in canyons like that is something else. If you can see that. It says I went 44 miles. Look how wonky that is. According to that, I climbed vertically up out of that canyon about 40 times. What the hell? So definitely not 44 miles. I don't know how far I actually went because I did not go 44.11 miles with 5,400 feet of elevation gain. Anyways, thanks for coming along.